Now, I want to say what Gene Decode says, okay? The QFS is off-world, okay? That's what he's saying. Otherwise, the cabal or the Illuminati, or whatever they are, would be messing with it, okay? So they've taken it all off planet, whether there's 1, 2, 3 for whatever hemispheres they are, but they are off planet right now, okay? So the QF system is working very nicely and has everything accumulated on for every person on the planet. He's saying, okay, available funds based on your age. If you're 50 years old, you'll get $1 billion. If you're 60, you'll get $7 billion. If you're 70, you'll get 10 to 15 billion. If you're 80, you'll get 30 to 40 billion. Available. It's not going to be like put in your account, but if you want to ask for it, and they're going to ask you, well, what you're going to use it for, whatever, then they'll give it to you, and it'll be approved based on your age and your, as we get older, we should have common sense. So this is maybe how they're going to be, getting all the because we have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars available. Okay. There's 7 groups in the deep state. Okay, that we're still fighting against. There's the military industrial complex. Okay, there is the NAZIs, which is another group. Okay, working with the negatives beings. Many have joined, but many of those negatives that the NAZIs were working with have now joined the White Hats. Okay, so they had star fleets and everything that was going at that time, and the White Hats took them back. Okay, this is all coming from Gene Decode. Then we have the Cabal. That's different from the NAZIs and the military industrial complex. Also has fleets of down in Antarctica, but the White Hats took them out and destroyed all them. As you've seen, maybe you had witnessed all this light show going on in the skies back in 2020, 2022, 2023. If you notice that all that stuff that was happening back then, it's not there anymore because all the malevolent Palladians and Syrians had our starfighters and whatever, not to mention our solar warden is now that's looking over our world and basically is the guardian of, we still have a quarantine in the upper, whatever we're at. There's some kind of quarantine that's happening, not allowing any negatives to come in. Okay. So that is kind of where that's at. The Cabal also had fleets. They basically destroyed all their light fleets and their, anti-gravity stuff in the skies, and they basically sent one fleet or one ship back to Antarctica. Now, whether that Antarctica is, still in negative hands, I'm not sure. But I do know that they're saving Israel for last because there is the Queen, let's say the Queen Bee is still there, okay, as far as the negatives go, and that's going to be taken out. White Hats have destroyed pretty much everything that they've tried to layer out. We also have another group called the Mantis, okay, and of course then there's the Illuminati. These are, and of course, all their levels, the Illuminati have all their levels of reptilian hybrids, okay? Now, and of course, the Mantas are basically, they're the programmers that had all the liberal clones. They were the ones that were developing all these liberal clones. That are out there, and it goes back to what I'm saying is that why did we not have just a complete, what's the word for it, a checkpoint at one point where we put everybody into a room and strip them down to see who they are, because they can hide a lot of stuff through under clothing. Everybody's wearing tattoos now. They're wearing their symbolism all over them. Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, it's basically them, whoever's holding that artwork on their body, they're telling you a story of their life, or what they believe in, what they assimilate to, what they want to you to see. So rip the shirts off, rip the pants off. Let's check them out. Let's see if they have genitals. Let's see if they have any paraphernalia artwork on them, that holds any type of relation to, the NAZIs, or relationship to SATAN, right? Anything along that line, I think a lot of that stuff will get cleaned up. Because people nowadays, maybe that's why there's been such a kick on this tattoo, because, back in the 70s and 80s, to see a woman have a tattoo, she was basically ostracized. She was ostracized for having that tattoo. She was considered cheap trailer trash. But now you see everybody out there got these tattoos. So, I mean, I went through that tattoo, kick going on when I was 18 years old. Thank God it didn't go very far. And there was no tattoo shops out there. Otherwise, I'd be, carrying a whole bunch of blurred out ink on my arms and shoulders. But I never did, and I'm very, very thankful to God for that. So I am seeing many, and it doesn't really matter what age they are. I'm just saying, we all have to go through this. I don't think the young ones are old enough to realize the level of, of what the geopolitical climate is in this world right now. I don't think they understand that, right? Yeah, he said the crash is coming on Monday while Trump is in China, and that could very well be. Yeah. Well, if you, here's a little note here. If you put on some Egyptian music and your cats are in the house, watch what they do. Just put some Egyptian music on and turn it up and see what they do. It kind of hypnotizes them. So there's some kind of relation, genetically, psychologically, that they assimilate with, and it puts them into kind of a hypnotic state because their eyes go boop. KC, they have minimum of copper, yes, but you can make your own. Get into, with a torch, like a propane tank with a hose off it, with a shooter on it. Okay, and light that up and get yourself some steel containers that you can melt the copper into. Or you want to go something a little bit more, then you can get into the actual melting pots, and they're on a electric. If you got power, they're electrified, and you can just pour put your hard copper in there, and it'll melt down into a powder, or into a liquid, and make sure that you put your borax in there and stuff like that. Learn how to do it, because it can be quite dangerous, and you will get burnt if you're not doing it properly. Copper is going to be very valuable. Trust me. I smell it. I feel it. After this EBS comes and we get to the other side and everything's cool, I'm still going to be, out there because I'm going to be learning things. And as I learn things, I want to spread the knowledge to all my patriots, because you deserve it. You've worked very, very hard to get to where you are. You survived everything. And that's that just gives a testament on your resolve. Your critical thinking through these bad times. To me, is they can't put enough badges on you. And medals for what you've been doing. And because we're all in this together. And we're only a small percentage of the world that is actually awake. Is the people that are here listening to what I'm saying and the things that, assimilating with the words that I'm getting, and me assimilating with the information I'm getting from other truthers that are out there, that are more well connected than I am. So I'm just, basically a messenger at this point, trying to feed out the information that I gather to give to the people, and then you from there can do what you will with it. But I know one thing right now, that you wouldn't be listening, and you would not be a patriot if you weren't, if you weren't listening here. So I think it's a testament on how much we've grown, in this whole apparatus, this whole crazy world that we've, come to see. And it's up front and in our face. And, it amazes me how, it really amazes me how, I guess, how so many people are still asleep. That just blows my mind. I would think that the whole world would be awake by now. Yes, there's lots of people that have been, every day more people are waking up to this. The light bulb's coming on and it's hitting them. Yeah. Tell everyone the truth about data centers. I don't know about the data centers. I don't know enough about it to make any comment on it, Crazy Indian, other than the fact is that, if the AI is in good hands, it's going to do good for us. If it's in bad hands, of course, it's going to do bad. Can we talk about the foreign currency RV? Been hearing lots of different opinions. Okay, the foreign currency is all going to be revaluated. Everybody that's on the planet, the 209 nations, and however many currencies are out there, all of them are going to have to be revaluated because they all have been manipulated. Right? So if you, say example, if you hold, and this will happen, Matt, okay, but if you hold, say if you hold $100 million in Vietnamese dong, okay? They're saying, based on the torment and the absolute abuse that Vietnam, went through in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, in those days, they're going to be paid back, and their money was worth, based on the value of what they had for rare metal assets, could be worth up to $11 American for every one of their dong. And right now it's 19,000 dong to 1 in Canadian. In America it's like 25,000 to 1. And all that's going to be evened out. It's coming. It's going to happen during the RV. So hang on to your foreign currency, hang on to your gold, your silver, start collecting copper, buying copper coin or whatever you can, because copper, basically right now the copper coins is a penny stock, and that's a physical, tangible metal that is worth money, and it's going to only go up. I expect silver to go up to $300 in the next month, and then all Trump has to do is flip the switch on gold, and silver's going to follow that to the stars. Anyways, I'm down to 10%. Love you all. Stay cool. Stay in the foxholes. Wait for things to happen. It's good things are happening.